Hey there, how are you all doing? So I'm using a new filming setup today. I don't know if this is going to work, but my old iPad stand broke down last week, so I'm trying a new one and we'll see how it works. I'm going to show you today a flip through of my May Traveler's Notebook. Now, since the Coco Daisy subscription, I stopped doing monthly Traveler's Notebook inserts, but I did want to kind of do one for May, because a lot of things happen in May and I decided that putting everything in a traveler's notebook kind of helped in putting it all together in the same place. So as you can see, my Webster's Pages traveler's notebook, my Midori, is exploding. It's pretty big. So all I have here are two Easter inserts and my May insert, and I do not have any space for more. So I'm gonna call this Traveler's Notebook completed and done. I'm gonna take my notebook out. You have process videos for all of these pages because I filmed all the process, and I think it's divided in about 3 videos if you wanna watch. I decided not to do a voiceover because it was getting a bit complicated doing so many voiceovers. I have to do one in Spanish, one in English. I prefer kind of doing a flip through at the end and talking about it, but just one video as a flip through. Using Felicity Jane notebooks here. I like Felicity Jane notebooks. They are my favorites. They are the strongest ones that I found. They do not break, the staples don't come out, and the whiteness of the paper I really like. I think that it helps to make the colors come out nicer. The first page, I decided to do an introduction page to the month, so I did use stickers in this notebook. I usually try to avoid using embellishments that have dimension, but I did decide to use some thickers, and that's why it ended up being quite a thick notebook. I did an introduction page. I stamped using some butterfly stamps from a Spanish brand, I think it's called Mintopia, and I have a few stamps from them and I really like them. Let me see if I can show you. Look, this is the brand Mintopia, and I'm sure it's Spanish. Yeah, it's designed in Spain, made in Spain. So they sell these mini stamps and they are really worth it, because I'm not very much into stamps, but I do like to have mini stamps like this to work with. And starting the first page, I wanted to kind of introduce what I usually like to do in May. So I did a checklist. I used another stamp, I think it was a Studio Calico stamp, of things that I like to do in May. I like to clean my terrace so we can eat out. This was the first day that it happened. I cleaned it up. We did have awful weather in May here in Spain, especially in Madrid. It rained a lot and it didn't feel like spring was coming at all. Now, all of a sudden, these last two days, it changed completely. And today we're going to the swimming pool. That's Europe for you, and that's spring for us. I mean, we usually pass from winter to summer and we don't really get to have spring at all. But it was really busy in May. We had a lot of things going on. I didn't even do the change of season, the change of clothes. I partially did it because it was still cold. We still needed to wear jackets until a couple of days ago. Second page I dedicated to my dog Mika. Mika turned 1 in May. Her birthday, funnily enough, is on the same day as my daughter's birthday. So this was kind of Mika's birthday page. I used a few tickers and embellishments, and I did a drawing of her, very simple drawing of Mika, using my Jane Davenport pencil colors. And then I decided to decorate the border with a pen. I doodled a few puppy paws, and I just did a few lines. Here we had a communion. May is very big with communions. We had my nephew's communion, so we were looking all nice and pretty, and we decided to take this pretty picture. And I used the Pink Fresh Studio page paper on this side, and I decided not to embellish it at all because I think it was busy enough. So I transported what was on the paper over here. I had a bit of paper left. I cut out a few more hearts, and I used a few embellishments, and I really like how this turned out. And I was also using the stamps. I do not have a lot of roller stamps, but I have this very old K and Company, I think, stamp, and it's still good. I still have up until 2020, I think, that I can use. Next page, from the same communion day, I'm using Webster's Pages paper this time. This is a really pretty paper from one of their newer collections. And then I decided to use the Nouveau drops, but as you can see, well, I don't know if you can see it from up there because my iPad's very far away. It's usually somewhere here. But I've used the Nouveau drops and they started cracking up, and I'm not very happy with the result. I think that this is one of these products that either you use up as soon as you buy it, which is very difficult because, I mean, how many drops can you get out of this? I can tell you. But they're kind of drying up. Not drying up, I don't know how to explain it, but they are not as good as they were the first time round. So I'm a little bit disappointed in that. I just put a big title over here, no journaling needed, because it was just kind of a layout with pretty photos of Laura and a few of her cousins. And then this is one of my favorite pages. I decided to kind of do a collage with squares. I had a Webster's Pages paper with these 2x2 squares that I cut up. I cut up a few of these squares. I printed some pictures. Well, these I think were leftovers because I did a layout a few weeks ago and I was using these 2x2 pictures. Well, I don't think they are 2x2. They are actually smaller than 2x2. And I had a few left over, so I decided to do this page. And I kind of used a few more trees that I cut out from this paper on the spread as well, so there's like a continuation. I do this in my traveler's journals. I use the same embellishments from one page to another. I doodle and I do it on quite a few pages. I try to use the same kind of embellishments, so it all looks nice and smooth, and it continues from one page to another. Another favorite page my parents visited for Laura's birthday and communion. I used rub-ons on this photo, something that I love doing, and these were really good quality rub-ons. These were the One Canoe 2 rub-ons, and I really like how it looks. So I repeated this idea. Webster's Pages paper underneath, big title, some rub-ons, a little bit of journaling here, and I tried to sweeten up the picture. And I used like green embellishments because of the nice green colors that were in the picture. Then Laura's birthday party. Well, it wasn't her birthday party, but it was her birthday, and we celebrated it by going to this really nice park called Parque Europa. And in this park, if you ever visit Madrid, it's really nice because there are a lot of monuments from Europe, but on a smaller scale, but they are quite big, so it feels like you are actually in the country. You'll see eventually. I'm going to show you the Torre Eiffel, and it looks amazing. So I use stickers. I tried to use my Jane Davenport inks, my mermaid markers, but they were a bit too strong for my taste, so I had to kind of cover that up. And in this page, what I simply used to decorate was a bit of washi in the middle. I'm using the Felicity Jane thick washi that I bought in my last haul, and the stamp that was given to me by Karen, who usually sees my videos. So hi Karen. She sent me a goodie box for Laura, and I took a few things for myself. So as you can see, look how big the Torre Eiffel is. So I've never seen the Torre Eiffel personally, and I've been told that it is huge, but this is quite a big representation of the Torre Eiffel. And we took a picture under it, and it was really cool. Here, my dad with Mika on his lap. She basically found her spot when my parents were here. She loved spending time with my dad. So I decorated it with some 3-dimensional stickers. I decided to use a circular design here. I love using circles in traveler's notebooks, and I always try to keep punches on my table because it makes it really easy to kind of create spreads like this. Then this page was one that I had to go back to. So in the video that I filmed, you kind of see me working only on this spread, but then I had to add a bit more because I felt like I needed to journal and I hadn't spoken enough about what happened on this day. So I took my parents on one of these double-decker buses, the touristic buses, and they really enjoyed it. It was something that probably they never imagined they would do. My parents are not big travelers, and they did come a few times in Spain, but it had been almost 8 years, I think, since they had been here. So for me, it was a blessing that they spent some time with us. We went on this bus, we spent the day in Madrid capital, the center, and we really enjoyed it. And I wanted to write some journaling about this, not to forget about it. So I was using this very old sheet of paper. I don't even remember. I think it was a very old Webster's Pages paper. And I finished the spread, and then I decided to cut out another like traveler's notebook size page and add it with a bit of washi. Now this tends to be quite fragile over time. I hope it sticks. And then using a 6x6 paper pad, again from Karen's stash, the stuff that she sent me, there was this nice paper with a map, and it said the story, and it fit perfectly. It was just a perfect fit. Again, I do what I did in these pages, where I cut out some items from the pattern paper and use them over here. I've done it here. I've done it with the hearts paper. Where is it? This one, I cut out the hearts, I use them here. I do the same thing here. Cameras on this page, and I cut out a few cameras, so it looks like it flows. Then on this page, this was Laura's communion day. I'm not going to document a lot of her communion pictures here, besides the fact that I still don't have them, because they did not send them to us yet. But I did have this picture, and I wanted to add it in the journal to kind of speak a little bit about her communion. A Webster's Pages paper over here, and I cut out some of the elements and I used them to decorate the other side. So as you can see, I repeat my style quite a lot. Here we went to visit my father's sister. She's a nun and she lives in Burgos. Burgos is about 2.5 hours driving distance from Madrid. So we took the trip and we visited her. It was a bit of a sad day for us because my aunt is not very well right now. She suffers from dementia, so she didn't even recognize us, and that was quite disappointing for my dad. But it did make me think a lot, because one of the reasons that I do scrapbooking is that I fear that something like this might happen to me in the future, or to anyone in my close family. And having these memories put down on paper and with the pictures, maybe it helps, you know, us, these people in the future, to remember more things. Then in Burgos it rained, so as I said before, we didn't have great weather, but we still managed to have a nice time. And I was really happy in the spread that I used a lot of very old things that I had in my stash. So this is basic grey paper, basic grey stickers. I had this sheet of stickers, I don't even know, I think it's a very old basic grey sheet, and I used it up and I was really happy that I did. I stamped the title, I stamped the date, a bit of journaling, and then there were these really weird trees, and I found this perfect sticker to go with the trees. Then we went to my husband's restaurant. My husband's a chef. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this, and he works in a restaurant. It's a really good restaurant, and we kind of planned a menu that they might like. So my mother got to eat lobster rice, and she was amazed by how good it is. Over here there's the name of the restaurant. I'm kind of not showing it for privacy reasons, but anyway, this is us eating at the table, and I used a big title here. This was awesome. Made a mistake with the title. I forgot to put the E in awesome, and I had to go back and fix it, but yeah, it happens. And I used this pretty I think it's L Studio paper, L Studio. I wanted a bright paper. There was a bit of yellow in the pictures, and I thought it was perfect to use. Then last page, the only picture that I have of Laura dressed up with her communion dress. I printed it small because it's not a very good quality picture. I used a nice bright flowery paper in the background. I used circular elements on this side. And here was Laura. We were kind of experimenting hairstyles that would work, and then everything went wrong the day of the communion. The thing that we tried to do did not work, as happens. But anyway, she was pretty that day. So I used very old embellishments again here. These stickers were from like an Echo Park paper collection, but a very, very old one. And I kept on doodling, and I left the last page empty because the notebook was very thick. And that's it. This is my flip through of the May Traveler's Journal. I am really enjoying doing these kind of projects, but I have something new coming up. I'm gonna do a haul because I'm gonna start memory planning. Everybody's doing memory planning, so I have to do memory planning. I've been printing pictures to use for my memory planner, and that's my next project, which I'm gonna plan to start this weekend. And that's all from me for today. I hope you like this, and I'll see you very soon with more. Bye!